Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Cbse Courses with Riti. As we discussed autotrophic mode of nutrients, today I am going to discuss about a structure. Now, as you can see, it's a leaf. Obviously, it is a leaf. Now, in this leaf, we are going to dig in detail here. This is the part that is visible to us. Okay. Now, if you take a leaf, you will observe this something like this, a straight kind of stem. You can see line, you can see whatever you want to see. You will observe. If you check it out, it goes like something like this, isn't it? Even if we draw leaves, so how we draw? We draw it like this, and then this, and this. How you draw this? So, firstly, let's talk about this line. What is this? So, this line basically is as lamina or leaf blade. In our previous classes, you will say that we gave it a name as leaf blade, right? But in this class, you can also call it as lamina. Okay, more good way if you can remember it. If you can't, it's okay. And I'll ask you to memorize this diagram. Okay, after leaf blade or lamina, it's basically not this, actually this is this. ये जो part है, this part is your lamina. Fine. Then that thing जो कि इस लीफ के बीच में जो चीज होती है, that is your midrib. Mid यानी बीच में, rib, that is a support system here, right? Midrib. Then comes this two kind of structure that is not looking very nice out है, but ये दोनों का नाम होता है vein. I'm writing the plural form, singular form, that is vein. ठीक है, तो ये तो हो गई बाहर वाली बात. That we are able to see. We are only able to see the leaf blade, the midrib and the veins, right? Now comes the interior part. But before we discuss interior part, here this thing that I have tried to look it like pipe-like structure. Here it is phloem. Phloem is not very clear up here, so you can just check it out in your textbooks. The diagram is given there as it is. Now comes the main part that I want to discuss with you. This whole thing. What we have done is, ये जो space है, इसको मैंने enlarge किया है. We have just enlarged it. That's why I have used these arrows. This symbolizes that जो leaf हमें available है by, we can see by the naked eyes. After we enlarge it, this is how it looks like. Okay, in a rough way you can say. We have this in our NCERT textbooks as well. Okay, so without wasting time, first is your epidermis. This is what? Your epidermis. I have darked it more so you can see it. Upper epidermis now you will write, because we have epidermis at lower as well. This 1, 2, 3. This is your lower epidermis. Okay. So we have upper epidermis, we have lower epidermis. What is the use of this epidermis? If you remember your class 9th, this is just like a protective barrier, you can say. It helps us, our leaf, it protects our leaf. Okay, so epidermis at last, and upper epidermis, lower epidermis are must. This is easy to remember. After that, we have something called chloroplast. Okay, these are your chloroplast. These things is your chloroplast. You can check it out in your books as well. That's why I have used this, because chloroplast जो है एक green pigment है that helps to absorb energy from the sunlight as we discussed in photosynthesis. So this is your chloroplast, this green pigment. After what it is? Air spaces. These are nothing but the air space. Okay. Air space is also necessary, isn't it? Air space is actually very necessary for us. After that, the very interesting topic is here. These two things. One and the second one. These both are what? These both are our guard cells. Now, by listing guard cells, you might remember stomata as well. Stomata is what? Small openings. Like here, these are small opening. Guard cell का क्या use होता है? It helps to open or close this stomata. So stomata is nothing like a cell or organelle itself, but it's just the small opening. उस small opening का name जो है, that is your stomata, and this is here is guard cells. I think this is clear. Let me recap it again for you. Okay. Let me just do one thing here. It looks very untidy. So let me clear it up. Okay. So this and this. These both are guard cells. And here, by epidermis, I don't mean only this black outing, but this whole thing. Same goes with lower epidermis. Not only this, but this whole thing is your lower epidermis. और इसके ऊपर एक और चीज होती है. Let me write it up here. That is waxy cuticle. Waxy cuticle, epidermis, इन तीनों को यही यूज होता है to protect करना is the main use. Let's start from the very beginning. Let me just rub up here. Okay. This is your leaf. Okay. This part is called leaf blade or lamina. Then this mid, the stem kind of structure in the mid is nothing but the midrib. After that, these two things I have drawn here, that you can say a horn-like structure. This is your vein. Both plural will be like veins. यहाँ पे आता है your phloem. You can check it in your textbooks as well. I'm repeating again and again for a clear picture of it. Although I have drawn every single thing very detailed here, but still you can check out. Now, ये जो green मैंने draw किया है, I have symbolized it for you because this is chloroplast. Chloroplast contains chlorophyll, which is a green pigment which absorbs energy from the sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. So ये जो जितने भी मैंने यहाँ पे green use किया है, जहाँ भी पूरे structure में green color use है, that is to symbolize your chloroplast. Okay? ये epidermis पूरा, ये तीनों epidermis है, ये पूरा epidermis है, but here it's your guard cells. Guard cells is something related to stomata. We are going to learn about it. Air spaces are there. Cell in every picture, if you enlarge it, you will see the air space because it's necessary. We discussed lamina, leaf blade, upper epidermis, air spaces, guard cells, lower epidermis. This drawing may not come as a draw. You may not ask to draw it, but they can either ask you to label it or check the correct option ki if they might say कि ये जो green है they will obviously will not color it green as of me. They will just draw it and say what is this. Option will be given like air space, guard cells, lower epidermis, leaf blade, chloroplast. Then you have to correct the right one. So it can come in your labeling. You must remember it. Waxy cuticle. In class 9th in tissues chapter, हमने पढ़ा था about cork. We learnt about epidermis. We learnt about cuticle. So what were they? They were just the dead cells, right? And their main function was to protect. That was the main function, to provide support, to protect. So that is what cuticle also does, that is what epidermis also does, and that is your lower upper epidermis, cuticles, all they do the same thing to provide support and protection. Chloroplast समझ आ गया, air space. Now this guard cells, quite important. So these guard cells are what we are gonna learn now. First let me just rub it and draw it again, but for now the main thing is remember the epidermis, remember the chloroplast and the guard cells. This is few things that they can ask you. Okay, so I hope this is clear up here. So first let us discuss the diagram of stomata, then we'll discuss more in detail. So stomata क्या होता है? Stomata is nothing but a small pore, a small opening pore, एक छोटा सा खुला हुआ जगह, the opened pore. ठीक है? Now the thing comes back. Why do we need stomata? So during your photosynthesis, we need CO2, the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and for that we need an opening, isn't it? Like we, the humans, when we breathe, so we have our nasal cavity, we have our mouth to breathe in the air. In the same way, our plants also need CO2 from the atmosphere, and hence they use stomata there. So stomata का basic function is the exchange of gaseous exchange and transpiration. Now comes the doubt that what is transpiration? The loss of excess water is transpiration. I am going to tell you more about it. Although आपको ये पता होगा, you are in now class 10th and we discussed about it in 9th as well. Here, this is a open stomata. This one is your closed stomata. Can you tell me the difference between the two? You do play the game finding the difference. Can you? Here there is only one difference. This stomata is opened. This one is closed. Means यहाँ पे ये space ज़्यादा है stomatal pore की, but यहाँ कम है. Right? Here the surface area, the area of stomatal pore is larger as in respect with the closed stomata. It's very tiny space up here, but it's large there. So when the stomata is open, they will exchange of gas will happen, transpiration will happen. So obviously it needs a larger surface area. Here your stomata is closed, means there is no exchange of gases is happening. This no transpiration can occur. Right. Now again I have used this green color marker to symbolize your chloroplast. You have chloroplast up here as well, and this structure, let's talk about this, the most important. ये जो black structure है, जिससे हमें पता चल रहा है that this is your stomatal pore. Right, with the help of this structure only you can identify that okay, this is your stomatal pore. So this structure is guard cells. Guard cells take the entry, and I'll say that guard cell is the hero up here. Stomata have to exchange gas it has transpiration, and hence it's a small pore opening at itself. But अब आप सोचो that it is opened all the time. If just imagine it doesn't happens in real. In real, close is open. This is happens. Stomata can close as well. It can open as well with the help of guard cells. I have given you the point. Guard cells help in opening and closing of stomata, and it acts as a protect, or you can say a support to stomata. But basic function जो होता है, that is opening and closing of stomata occurs with the help of guard cells only. अगर अब क्लोज होता ही नहीं, लेट अस से ये डायग्राम है ही नहीं, it only opens, हमेशा ओपन रहता है this opening. So what will happen? There will be time जब इसके पास CO2 उतना ही होगा जिससे इसको खाना बनाना है. They don't require more CO2. Or with this stomata opening, I told you that transpiration also occurs. Means पानी जाता भी है. तो अगर पानी जाएगा, अगर इसमें से water, the transpiration process occurs. So maybe there will be a time कि आपके पास खुद ही sufficient water नहीं है, and still this water keeps on going and going. Right? That doesn't happen. You agree with me? That should not happen. So for that, don't worry about the notes. You can take the notes. I'll give you all the points. I'll just write it here. But let's first discuss this diagram only. You can draw this diagram. It can come in your exams as label, as drawing as well, because this is a quite easy diagram to draw. You have green color for chloroplast. Green for chloroplast. You have stomatal pore. And your guard cells helps in opening and closing of the stomata. And this is also called the bean-shaped. You know, this is like this, bean-shaped structure. So this is like this, open stomata. Quite a huge space here for gaseous exchange as well as your transpiration. But it closes like this. Now, no space, more compact. That is what happens in this. Let us now discuss it in more detail and just recapitulate what we learnt in the diagram itself. Okay, so we have now the topic stomata and guard cells that we already discussed. But let us recapitulate what we know, what we need to do, and so on. Stomata helps in what? Just your gaseous exchange and your transpiration, right? Now, why gaseous exchange? How it occurs? Let us talk about that. Plants obtain CO2. CO2 through stomata. But large amount of H2O can be lost. I just told you कि अगर ये खुला रहेगा, let us say it is taking CO2, but now it's not closing, बंद ही नहीं हुआ. Then what will happen? All the H2O will release. So now that can be a big issue, right? Therefore, this sign is used for therefore. Plant closes stomata when CO2 is not needed. When plants need to obtain CO2, they just open widely as we discussed the diagram. And when there is no more need to take CO2, they just closes. Now comes the transpiration. Transpiration is nothing but the removal of excess water from plants. Sometimes what happens, we give lots of water to plants. या plant के अंदर बहुत सारे water molecules present हैं. Now they need to remove it. How will they? They don't have excretory, not in the sense of excretory system, but they can't just go to washroom and remove it, right? They have a process called transpiration in which the excess water present in the plants is removed. That is why your transpiration is. Coming to guard cells. Guard cells is the bean-shaped structure. You can write down in the brackets as well. It may come in your MCQ. So, bean-shaped structure. Process of opening and closing of stomata is a function of guard cells. Now, stomata, this reason we learned that why we need to close stomata, when we need to open stomata. But now, how will it open and close? So basically, it's the function of guard cells. There are guard cells present which helps in opening and closing of stomata. Now, this para, or you can say this cloud shaped thing, is really important to discuss up here. When your guard cells open, यहाँ मैंने एक category दी है. First is your open, second is your closes. When now guard cells का पता चल गया that when it needs CO2, it opens. When it doesn't need CO2, it closes. But हर time ये तो होगा नहीं कि हर time whenever CO2 is needed, that's the only time H2 needs to be removed. ऐसा भी एक specific time आ सकता है that there is no requirement of CO2, but just we need to remove water. So now what we'll do? We need to remove water. So अब कैसे guard cells को पता चलता है that now we have to do the process of transpiration. So we need to open up or we need to close up. So we have all the details up here. Guard cells swells up when H2 flowing in it. Let us say this is your guard cells. It's like this. Okay. Now when water is in coming up here, it starts swelling up, right? Like here also it swelled up. पहले से तो ज़्यादा हो गया. Now when it swells up, it makes this stomata open. जब ये swell up हो जाता है तो it makes this stomata open, जिससे H2 will be removed. And जब guard cells shrink हो जाते हैं, like in the sense अब मैंने सारे ये जो H2 है अपने guard cell से remove कर दिया. So now it will come back to its normal size. Hence, it will now close. Same goes with CO2. जब CO2 को हमें और चाहिए होता है, it opens it wide so that CO2 can go, and it closes जब हमारी CO2 की requirement हो जाती है खत्म. So stomata, I'll say, is rather interesting and very important. Please mark up. It's very important. It can come. The thing that can come is your guard cells. This is something we are learning from the childhood, but guard cells. Process of opening and closing of stomata is function of guard cells. How guard cells open, when it does open, when it closes. These are the few reasons. Few, not the few. I stand correct. These are the reasons how it opens, how it closes, from where we obtain CO2. So that is your stomata. Stomata is gaseous exchange and transpiration. This whole thing written on the board here, I'll say each and everything, each and every word is important, so you can write it down in your notes. And in the next video, we are going to continue with the life process. That is your chapter biology, class 10th, NCRT, Cbse. I hope you like my video. If you do, so do like, subscribe. Okay? Like, subscribe and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe so I can keep making up new videos like this. Go and subscribe right now, and if you haven't clicked the bell hang button yet, so please do that, so you will get all the notifications of my channel, the new videos uploaded and so on. Till then, bye bye and please subscribe.